Stage 10 of the Tour de France will take the riders 217.5 kilometres from Saint-Flour to Albi. But before we get into today, let's have a look back at yesterday. It came into the finish. It was a sprint between Thijs Benoot and his breakaway companion, South African champion Daryl Impey, who took a phenomenal victory and his first Tour de France ever stage for Mitchelton Scott. Julien Alaphilippe retained his yellow jersey and would take a 23-second advantage over Giulio Ciccone and 53 seconds over fellow countryman Thibaut Pinot into stage 10. The Saint-Flour to Albi stage, 4 categorised climbs along the route: the Côte de Malais, the Côte de Chaude-Aiguës, the Côte de Espluh and the Côte de Marie, coming with 53 kilometres to go. Stage heavy on the climbs early on, a rolling finish. It looked like it would be one for the sprinters. Rolling out of the start, great sunny day for the riders again, with temperatures hitting 28 degrees Celsius. The breakaway group, though, was established. 213 kilometres of the stage remaining. Tony Galopin, Nat Bahana, Anthony Turgis, Mads Wertschmidt and Odd Christian Eiking were the original members, but Michael Shah of CCC was also keen to join in on the action, making it 6 riders at the head of the race. From this point, you would have expected a fairly standard day on a stage such as this in the Tour de France, but as they went on, it would become anything but. They headed towards the intermediate sprint with 95 kilometres to go, and it was Odd Christian Eiking of Wanty Group Gobert who took maximum points. Out of the peloton behind, Bahrain Merida were again trying to lead out for Sonny Colbrelli. He got the better of Peter Sagan on this occasion, but it would be just 1 point that he would chip away in the green jersey competition. With 68 kilometres to go, the breakaway group were holding just over a minute's advantage, but this would be the point where a fairly easy-ish stage started to become difficult for many GC contenders. Luke Rowe from Team Ineos, the master of the Crosswinds, put the hammer down, ably assisted by Marcus Berghardt of Bora Hansgrohe. King of the Mountains, Tim Wellens and FDJ Sebastian Reichenbach were among those riders caught out, while in the breakaway group, Shah was trying to encourage his breakaway companions to keep pressing on. EF Education First came to the front and put the hammer down, led by Simon Clark. Inside 38 to go, and the peloton was starting to splinter behind. George Bennett of Jumbo-Visma had gone back for bottles, but the yellow jersey himself came through to the front, and this move would be the catalyst that would spell disaster for many of the GC contenders in this year's Tour de France. At the front, Alaphilippe, Thomas Sagan, Quintana, Dan Martin and many others were putting time into Richie Porte, Jakob Fuglsang and Frenchman Thibaut Pinot, who had gone into the stage in 3rd overall. George Bennett, though, was the man that was really losing time. He was cutting a lonely furrow on his own at 1:51. Alexei Lutsenko had brought the Porte group to within 12 seconds, but this would be as close as they got, as they went within the final 10 kilometres of the stage, with many of the sprinters making the front group. They put the hammer down and Thibaut Pinot was now losing over a minute. Team Sunweb came to the front to try and lead out for Michael Matthews, with Caleb Ewan and Sonny Colbrelli both close to the front. Gaining time into the finish, it was still Sunweb on the front, but it would be Wout van Aert of Jumbo-Visma who came through with Elliot Viviani on his wheel. Wout van Aert, though, having the power to hold off the Italian, and in his first Tour de France took his first victory. A phenomenal sprint there by Wout van Aert, just had the power to hold off the fast finishing Italian. It would be 1 minute and 40 seconds lost, but even more disaster for Mikel Landa behind, losing over 2 minutes. He is Wout of this world. Wout van Aert, the cyclocross sensation, takes his first Tour de France stage victory. Elia Viviani and Caleb Ewan finishing 2nd and 3rd. Matthews, Sagan, Philipsen, Colbrelli, Trentin, Narsen and Van Avermaet was your top 10. Julien Alaphilippe Looking good in the Maillot now leads Geraint Thomas by 1 minute and 12 seconds with Egan Bernal at 1:16. Kruijswijk, Buchmann, Mas, Yates, Quintana, Martin and Pinot, all winners on a stage that could spell disaster for many favourites of this year's race. After a welcome rest day, the riders will be back on the road for stage 11, 167 kilometres from Albi to Toulouse. Just one Cat 3, one Cat 4 climb along the route, an intermediate sprint at 87 kilometres covered. And looking at the stage profile, it could be a day for the sprinters. Keep up to date with all the action here on GCN.